He'll sometimes just do that even when nothing is in his hand. Oh, he dropped it. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, I'm doing Evan's 6-month update. I did actually film this a little bit earlier, but it kind of got dictated by his well-child visit, and I decided that I want to split those two videos up. So in this video, I'm going to do a general overall 6-month update, and then I will do another video specifically about his 6-month well-child visit. So Evan turned 6 months probably not this past week, but like a little over a week ago, and he is doing awesome. Right now he's standing on my lap, and all I have to do is just kind of help him balance a little bit. He's really strong in that sense. He's already got into the crawl position, and sometimes he even gets, like when he's in the crawl position, he'll actually even get up on his toes. So he'll just be on his hands and his toes, which is incredible because I don't remember my girls getting into crawl position so quickly as he does. I don't know. So what else? He has started solid foods. He started solid foods a little bit before he turned 6 months. I just noticed that he seemed to be kind of hungry, and I remember at the 4-month well-child visit, the doctor asked me if I wanted to start him on solid food then, and I thought that was a little bit odd. With my two older kids, I started them always at 6 months, and I think that there's recommendation that you start solid foods at 6 months. I mean, some do say that you can start at 4 months, but most of them recommend, I think, at 6 months. So I didn't want to start him earlier than 6 months, but I did start him slightly earlier before he turned 6 months old because he just seemed kind of hungry. He is, as you can see, he's like really into, you know, exploring things, touching things, and yeah, he's a very curious kid, and he just wants to kind of almost touch everything. He can like grab my plate. So now that he can get into the crawl position, I can put him down, and he's like looking around and seeing where he wants to go, and oftentimes he is starting to actually inch towards wherever it is that he wants to go. He can turn 180 degrees, if not, and more. And so I think that's considered gross motor skill. I don't know. Is that gross motor skills? I think he's just being he's very strong. So as you can see here, I can hold him by his hands, and he's been able to do this for a month or two at least. But he's just getting really strong. And what else? His hand, like in terms of fine motor skills, I think this is fine motor skills. I've noticed recently he's been going like this and like looking at his hand and seeing how it moves. So I think he's kind of making that connection between his hand and his brain. So that's really cool. And in terms of feeding, I've started him just on the typical baby food. I started him on oatmeal. I was going to start him on rice, but the store ran out of rice, so I had oatmeal instead. And I've been pumping, which is another update of this 6-month update. I've been pumping so I can kind of mix the cereal with breast milk. I did try to feed him cereal with water, and he was like, what is this? So I started to pump because I thought it was effectively more cheaper to pump my milk versus buy formula. Formula is very expensive. He does kind of like talk back sometimes when I go, hi. Yeah, this is his way of communicating. He loves to touch my face. And sometimes when he makes noises, like cooing sounds, like we can kind of have a conversation back and forth. Can we have a conversation back and forth? So I have just recently, within the past day or so, literally, started to not do baths. And that was because there's been a couple times where he pooped in the bathtub, and it's just like, oh, I could not give you a bath in poopy water. So yesterday he pooped in his bath yet again. One day I took him to his sister's bathtub, and then yesterday he did it again, and I just put him in my bathtub. My bathtub is deeper, and but I kind of figured out a way to do it. So I think from now on I'm going to give him effectively showers. So to kind of avoid that whole poop mess, because it's so terrible when you put them in the water and then all of a sudden you can just start see them pushing. And because he started solid foods, he has been pooping a lot more, and which is, you know, even more indication that he just needed to start solid foods. Because before he, you know, I was like kind of like on poop watch, and it could be almost a week, several days, almost a week maybe, that he would have a poop. And what else? He recognizes both his sisters, and he's always so excited to see them when they come home from school. And what else? I think that's kind of like why he wants to crawl so bad, because he just wants to catch up to his sisters. And he's been sleeping continuously really well. He goes to sleep around 10:15-ish. That's about his bedtime. Well, he starts feeding. He does his last nighttime feed around 9:30, and then he falls asleep around 10:15. I thought I was going to need to sleep train him, but this is kind of, I think this is pretty good. I'm not one of those parents who puts their kids to bed at like 7 or 8. It just won't work for our family. And so yeah, as you can see, he's like just like looking all around. What do you want to touch next, huh? You want to look at this pen? And see, as you can see how he's like doing that with his hand. He'll sometimes just do that even when nothing is in his hand. Oh, he dropped it. And what else? What else is going on with you? So as I was saying, his nighttime sleep is good. He wakes up around 7 or 8. When he wakes up at 8, that's kind of really nice, because during the 7 o'clock hour, I am on a school run. And he usually takes a 1 or 2 nap, probably 2 naps. But sometimes his first nap can be really long. I am trying to figure out some sort of schedule. I am trying to feed him solid foods 3 times a day. So I think if he takes a long nap in the mid-afternoon to early afternoon, that has been happening for several days. So I'm wondering if that should be his routine. But otherwise it'll be, and then like a shorter nap in the early evening. In terms of breastfeeding, because his feeding has changed a little bit. I experienced a clogged duct again, and but I think it's kind of getting better after a few days. So cross my fingers it doesn't get worse. As you can also see in comparison to his, previous videos, I just honestly edited and uploaded his 3-month update. So I am very, very behind. And as he's getting older, he just needs more attention. I am practicing, so he's doing the, getting in the crawl position, even getting on hands and toes. I think next will be crawling, like crawling, and then because he can get from one place to another, but I don't think it's actually crawling. I think it's like him getting into crawl position and then falling down and kind of like inching, wiggling his way to where he wants to go. And then I think next will be also sitting up. He is getting better and better at sitting up, but he still needs a little bit of assistance. He's not yet in a high chair at restaurants. So you know how restaurants typically they have those kind of wooden high chairs, or sometimes plastic ones that are really big, but either way, both of them are very like unsupported. He is not sitting in one of those high chairs yet, but he has been sitting in his Fisher-Price high chair for a while now, and he's getting better and better at that. I think he's also starting to get bored of his toys, because often I'll give him about 3 toys. I try not to put too many toys on his high chair tray. He'll take the toys and go like this, and then just drop it. And you can see that he's doing it intentionally. And so I think he is kind of getting a little bit bored of his toys. But one of his favorite toys, and I want to start including these in. One of his favorite things to play with is this little bracelet that his older sister made him. So when I change him, he is starting to like roll all over the place, and he just cannot stay still laying on his back. And I wonder if this is because this is a different changing table than what I use for my girls. And usually the like the garbage can and like the Vaseline and the lotion was at their foot, so they weren't exposed to, so there wasn't that much stuff to grab when I was changing my girls. But the setup is different, and the garbage is kind of like above his head, and the lotion and the Vaseline are kind of like by his side near his feet. So he tends to want to roll quite a bit. So I give this little bracelet that his sister made him, and that kind of can keep him on his back and still while I change him. In terms of clothes, he is probably bigger than 6 months. Like this hoodie that he's wearing right over here is actually 12 months. It's kind of big for him. But he's wearing 6+ months. I think probably size 9 months is probably his ideal size. But he still fits in his 6 month, and then so he basically wears between 6 months to 12 months. And I think that is about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to do another video about his 6-month well child visit, because I think that deserves a whole video on its own. And please just give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not subscribed already, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.